Nobody talks about how hard it is to build generational wealth while you're barely making it month to month. It's a strange feeling wanting to build generational wealth when you are still trying to survive your own generation. I mean, think about it. You're working hard to make things work for you, but yet still you are preparing for the next generation. There is nothing more difficult than that. If you are someone who was born with a silver spoon in your mouth, maybe not even that far. Maybe if you have a start, then it would not be so difficult. But when you don't have a start, when you are starting from zero, when you are someone like me who is scraping by just to make ends meet, then that job is one of the most difficult things you can do with your life. At least that's what I believe. I could be wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. I think people assume that if you are talking about land, farms, digital product, YouTube, that you must be comfortable, that everything is going well for you, that you have things under control. But the truth is, some days I'm trying to build wealth in theory while I'm still stressing about bills in reality. So let that sink in for a little bit. I'm building wealth in theory while I am stressing out right now in real times to pay bills, take care of my family, and everything else. Hmm. But for me, honestly, there is no other way around that because in reality, I don't want my sons to inherit struggle. No, I really don't. I don't want them to have degrees and still feel lost like I do. That's not the life that I want for them. I don't want them to survive. I want them to start ahead of the game. I don't want them to start from zero. I want to build something for them. I want to leave them something. I want my sons to inherit while I am still trying to figure out how to stabilize my own life. This is why I am so hell bent on building Simply Massey. Our kind of simple. This is why I'm trying to build something in Sierra Leone. This is why I'm creating digital products for busy moms. This is why I want ownership of everything that I'm doing because at the end of the day, I want my boys to inherit something meaningful. I don't want them to inherit the struggles that we had to take on. I don't want them to inherit the struggles that we are going through right now. I want them to inherit something meaningful, something that will make them not start from zero, something that will give them a head start, something that will just put them ahead of the game. So for me, generational wealth isn't just about money in my bank account. For me, it's land in Sierra Leone, it's agricultural income, it's digital products that sells basically while I'm sleeping, and it's also teaching my boys financial literacy so that whatever it is that I built for them, whatever it is that I get to leave behind for them, I know that they can handle it. Because the thing with money is a tricky thing. It's one thing having money, it's another thing growing that money, and then it's another thing maintaining that money. So, in order for you to keep money, you need to master all three of those things. So, For me, generational wealth is not just that money. For me, it's teaching my boys how to maintain that so they also can pass that down to their children, who will then pass it down to their children. So for me, building generational wealth is not just about putting that money in the bank account. It's owning those lands. It's having multiple streams of income that will bring in money even when I'm not around, even when I'm not doing the work. And generational wealth also means that me teaching my boys how to handle that money when I'm not around, so that money can in turn work for them as they are growing their family. Generational wealth also means, putting God first, having teaching them so that they know that just because they have doesn't mean that they get to go around and treat people anyway. Generational wealth means teaching them faith so that they don't go out and do just about anything to keep that money. It means I get to teach them how to be a decent human being, because the world that we live in right now, we do need decent human beings. And for me, that is part of my job, to teach them that. And for me, that is what generational wealth is all about. So it's not just about the money. The money is one part of it. Then you get to teach them how to keep that money. Then you get to teach them the faith part of it. How, when they do have that money, how to walk with God, how to be decent human beings, how to help out their generations. Because let's face it, if I am successful at what I'm trying to build, which I believe I will be successful because I do have God on my side, they will have. And the real discipline comes in when you have, how do you act as a human being? That's when your flaws come to light. So I want them to be able to be decent human beings, regardless of what they have. Treat every human being with respect, regardless of who you are, from a child to a grown adult, from the janitor to whoever's working next to them in that office. I want them to be able to do that. So that is what generational wealth means to me. You know, the more I think about it, the more everything that I'm going through makes sense. It makes sense because I feel like I am meant to go through this, because I have 5 boys who I need to teach how not to go through this. Because imagine if I didn't have to go through this, I would not have anything to teach my boys, because I do not have that personal experience to relate to draw back from. So I'm grateful, very, very grateful. You know, I'm here talking about being grateful, and on one hand, and then on the other hand, I'm talking about, you know, all the hardships that I'm dealing with. And I don't want people to get confused, because life is a balance. With the good, you have the bad, and together they make it whole. It's just sometimes the pressure of having a master's degree but no income that matches that. The pressure of watching other people succeed online, you know, and me sitting here, me investing money in my farm in Sierra Leone, all that pressure adds up. It adds up when, your own finances feel so tight. It feels like you can't breathe. You have to be careful, because taking too much is gonna, from one part, will hurt the other. So you have to walk a very thin line. Some days I feel so embarrassed saying that I'm building generational wealth. I wonder if I am delusional. Like, I feel like, who am I talking about generational wealth when I'm still here trying to figure things out? I'm literally trying to figure things out right now, but yet still, I'm talking about years down the road. I really truly feel very delusional. But if I don't do that now, if we don't do that now, who's going to do that for them? Nobody. So, in as much as we are struggling, working through our issues, we still have to keep them in mind. We still have to prepare for them in the future. I do not have millions. I do not even have any passive income yet. But then I look at my boys and I remember I can't quit. I just I just have a vision, and I have my five boys watching me. And that is enough to get me moving. That is enough to get me to do what I need to do. Because when I look at everything, when I talk about land back home, when I talk about farming, it's not just a fantasy. Trust me. It's me trying to make sure that they have somewhere to stand. I don't want them to inherit survival mood. I don't. I want them to inherit real things. I want them to inherit lands. I want them to inherit keys. I want them to inherit businesses that are functional, that are making money. I want them to not just have a seat at a table. I want them to be the ones building the tables. And best of it all, I don't want them to graduate with degrees and still feel behind. I want them to start from ownership. That's what I want for my kids. That's what I want for my boys. And believe me, with everything I have in me, with the help of God, they will have that. I may not look wealthy right now, but I am building something slowly and intentionally. I may look like I'm struggling, and I am, but I'm also building. And one day, my boys will not remember the struggle. They will remember that their mother never stopped working for them. And that's the plan.